You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 2nd, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board for August 2nd, 2023. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. I'll make the roll call. Mrs. Sperling.
Here.
Mr. Glidden. Here. And I'm here. So we have a quorum. Next up is our minutes from our previous meeting of July 19th. They were prepared in advance and presented. So hopefully you had a chance to review. Unless there are any changes, corrections, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Nay, none. All right. Any project updates tonight?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any old business? Yes, there is. So there's resolution number 1008, I believe, and Mr. Shin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We approved this to allocate money to help pay for additional police in Washington Park. And then it was deemed that such payment from one department to the next was not appropriate. So they're asking us to rescind this resolution.
That's correct.
That's correct?
Mhm.
All right. Questions or comments?
Is there any alternative to?
As far as I heard from the controller's office, that the police should be paying their policemen to do that duty.
Mhm.
And if I remember, there were some emails which stated that they were going to continue to patrol in the same amount of consistency and frequency and that they have been doing, despite us rescinding this.
That's what I heard too. Yes.
Okay.
And what about what we've already had to pay them? Because this is the full amount, right?
Correct. And we have had to pay them some, so I'm not sure what's going to happen to that
Okay.
money, if we get reimbursed or not.
Okay. But they were paid. People were paid,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. Okay.
As far as I know, yes.
And just a quick comment on that. I hope I'm not speaking ahead of the city controller and what's going to happen and what she's going to do in the background. But with us still being short of officers, there is a bit of a cushion in there. I mean, I'm speaking for anybody else in the city. This is my opinion and the way I see the budget may fall, being that we're going to be short still of officers. We haven't met our full allotment of 84. That there's going to be salary shortage, and I would imagine overtime as well. So hopefully we'll be able to squeeze that in there and do it that way for the time being, and to get this thing done. But I'm not as certain of the exact number we have now. I know we brought some more on recently, came out of the academy, and the other ones are going to the academy, but we're still not at our full allotment of 84. So hopefully we can sit down and work this out and get this thing together. So
Thank you, Brian. That helps. We've been in that situation before too here at the Park Department where we couldn't hire what we budgeted. So there ends up being excess in those wage accounts and can utilize that somewhere else. Any questions or comments? Questions from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion to rescind resolution number 1008?
I move that we rescind resolution number 1008.
Second?
Well, I thought it was a good idea the first time, so
I know.
I'll second it as a formality.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Any table business tonight?
No tabled business.
Thank you. Right on to new business then. We have acceptance of bid for the senior center renovation project.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford.
You're welcome.
In your packet is the proposed senior center agreement, which we will discuss on the next item. But as far as the acceptance for the bid, I have selected out of the 3 bids we acquired last meeting, I have selected Holiday Construction. They happened to be the lowest bid. We worked with them in the past, just lately at the project at the zoo. I find them very easy to work with, very competent, and I hope you approve and accept their bid.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments from the board? The amounts were read last meeting.
I can refresh your memory if you like.
Sure, quickly.
Okay, Larson Danielson was 219,612. Holiday Construction was 198,000, and Gibson and Lewis was 274,300.
All right, thank you. Questions from the public? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to accept the bid for the senior center renovation project from Holiday Construction for 198,000 and the alternate one for 17,000?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. All right, just right on the heels of that, now we can award the construction agreement for that same project. Back to you, Mr. Shin.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
In your packet is the proposed senior center agreement that has been reviewed and approved by our attorney, Laura Nurnberg. The contractor selected for this project, as I said, is Holiday Construction. They submitted the lowest bid. Their base bid was $198,000, and the alternative bid for flooring in the billiard room was $17,000. This brings a total cost to $215,000. Currently, we do not plan on pursuing the alternate work unless the base price scope of work is completed with sufficient funds from the contingency remaining. Our contingency is 10% of the appropriated funds, which is $22,700. I strongly recommend accepting this bid and approving the senior center remodel agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions from the board? Questions from the public? I only have one comment. I just want to thank everyone involved with this project. It's been in the thought process for many, many years, and recently gained momentum through City Council allocating the funds, through Jerry Fedorchik, the architect, getting the plans together, working with us, keeping his fees as low as possible, and then the park department staff are working diligently to bring it all together, get the bidding out, and we're here with the project that is we're going to get done within the original budgeted amount. So this is it's a good. And if those of you unfamiliar with the project, Senior Center, the offices are on the north wall, and that of course blocks the view for a lot of the dunes, the lake. And this project is going to move them to the south and open up that whole wall to make it a better experience for not only the Senior Center, but anyone that rents the facility.
Awesome.
And then there's other improvements to the flooring and other items, but that's about it. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the construction agreement for the Senior Center renovation project?
I move that we approve the construction agreement for the senior center renovation project.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Now we have a revision to the policy regulating the use of off-road vehicles in Sheridan Beach. Mr. Shin.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
This is an item that I discussed with our attorney, Mrs. Laura Nurnberg, and there are a few items that she would like to hammer out as far as the language is concerned, and I would like to ask the board to table this till the next meeting.
All right. Can you basically just give us the purpose?
Of tabling?
Oh, no, not of tabling,
Okay.
but what the intent is to change of what the current policy, the new policy. You don't need to get into all the nitty gritty, but just in general.
Sure. The crux of the matter is the fact that some of the off-road vehicles that we allow by permit to operate to take challenged people to the beach are using the beach mats to get to the beach, and we're asking them or requiring them not to take the beach mats.
Okay, thank you for that. The request by the superintendent is to table unless there are questions or comments. Do I have a motion to table?
I move that we table the use of off-road vehicles policy.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, now we have the zoo retail manager travel request. Good evening. Welcome.
It's that time of year again. Sean Sheldon, retail manager for the Washington Park Zoo. I am requesting to attend the gift show in Tennessee this year. It is November 7th through the 11th. They have 3 large shows that go on all during that week. There's one in Sevierville, one in Pigeon Forge, and one in Gatlinburg. And they're big convention centers. They have over thousands of vendors that go to it. That is where I buy about 95% of my stock for the year. It helps me keep up on the latest trends, find new vendors for it. I get discounts for going there on shipping and just the items that I'm buying. And then I also am a participant on a group called ZAG, which is Zoo and Aquarium and Garden Buyers Group. And we have our annual meeting there every year on it. And so I get to meet all these other buyers from other zoos and aquariums and garden centers and get ideas from them. And we throw out all kinds of, roundtable discussions, and we have a really great time with that on it. So it's a great networking, but it's also a great way to get a lot of new products for the gift shop. Just an update, so far this year, we have sold $210,000 out of the gift shop. Last year at this time, we were at $185,000.
Right.
So we are doing really well this year. Every day stocking, just nonstop stocking. So
Thank you for that additional detail. Questions or comments? Well, Sean, it's I know you've done this many years, and we can't thank you enough because you leave your family to leave for a week, which is tough enough, and then your job isn't being done when you're gone, and you come back and you get a lot of catching up to do, but you do it because you love it. You love the zoo.
it's the
And
funnest part of the job. I'm sorry, but I love picking out the toys. And then I order them, and then they come in like either in December or January and February, and then I open up and I'm like, I don't even remember getting this one, but this is awesome,
Right.
So it's like a Christmas for me all over again.
well, you do a great job. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for your dedication and willingness to go there and to participate in this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions or comments from the public? All right. Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the retail manager travel request?
I would move that we promote the travel request.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Good luck.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. All right, next up is the 2024 Fall Softball League registration rules and fees.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
It has been proposed by softball director Kerry Kraczynski that we offer a $50 reduction in entry fees for the men's 12-inch big bat co-ed and co-ed adult softball leagues. This will be offset by offering a 10-game schedule instead of a regular 12-game schedule. Furthermore, these changes are anticipated to attract more teams to sign up by making our softball fees more competitive with neighboring communities. And I recommend these changes, hoping that it will increase interest and draw more teams.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments from the board? Ed, were the only changes highlighted in yellow in our packet?
Correct. There were no changes in the regulations or the rules.
Thank you. And this includes the payment of the umpires? Is that part of this policy?
Payment of the umpires, there'll be no reduction if that's what you're asking.
Okay, no change of versus pay at the plate versus being included.
Right. We were not able to do the pay at the plate.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you for that
Mhm.
reminder. Any other questions or comments from the board? Questions from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the 2024 Fall Softball League registration rules and fees?
I move that we approve the new softball fee schedule.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we have the memorandum of understanding with EVP Academies for the 2024 season.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
This is a memorandum of understanding with the EVP Volleyball Academies. It has been operated here in Michigan City at Washington Park for quite a few years. I think Mr. Balling does a great job. There has been no changes other than the dates have been specified where Mr. Balling and EVP would have to relocate from the parking lot 1 area to the senior center area. And I recommend that the board approves this MOU. I think Mr. Balling does a great job and it does draw a lot of spectators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments from the board or comments from Mr. Balling? Good evening and welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks, Mr. President, to invite me up here. I just want to say kudos to operations and administration for another great summer. We got to the beach this summer with a lot of changes to the sand, and Pat Bolt and his team really came to the plate and fixed it up. I handed you guys an award that's less than $5, so I don't think it's any type of payoff. It is an award that an athlete gets when they take first, second, or third at our events. I bring up a point, and I only bring this up as I'm going into a major surgery tomorrow, and things change. So I wanted to make sure the contract was made up for one, Lucas, Livy, and Laney, who participate in the programs, and all the kids, about, I would say 3,000 kids a summer participate. My only issue right now is, and my hope is that the park board will take a deep evaluation of participation of recreation sports in Michigan City from residents of Michigan City. Unfortunately, our program of 3,000, there's about 1% from Michigan City. It breaks my heart. It's something that I've been working on for almost 30 years. And it breaks my heart that we don't have more kids. The last kid that won one of those awards moved out of Michigan City 10 years ago and is now in not the best shape. The point I'm making is I would love to see Michigan City Parks and Rec change its name to Michigan City Recreation and Parks. If we don't do that, I have a feeling it's going to be another 30 years with 1% participation. In terms of the leagues, you talk about the softball leagues, the participation in adult softball and adult sports has been trending downwards because our youth sports at the recreation level has been very soft. I only bring this up not to take away from any efforts from Mr. Shin's office or from anybody else's office in the administration, but to show that the numbers don't lie. And I hope you look at evaluation objectively in the future, not subjectively, not brick and mortar. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ross. Yeah, we certainly, it's our mission to provide recreational opportunities to everyone in Michigan City. We take that mission seriously. Participation is down. The numbers don't lie. And we have to redouble our efforts to increase participation, not only in the recreation, but in all programs and bring more program in. And Part of that is getting a recreation director that would help greatly. So we've been working with the city council, trying to reestablish that position. And we'll continue to do that. So it's our goal to, the name change is one thing, but actions speak louder than a name change. And that's what we're focused on. But it's a worthy call out. We hear you. In regard to your exhibit B in the contract, and Mr. Shin, maybe you can help this. So you list the locations, and Mr. Shin, you said you recommended approving this. So I assume we're good with these dates and the locations listed.
These were worked up by Shannon Eason and Mr. Balling,
Okay,
but I agree with them.
thank you.
And they were worked in with the events, so there are no conflicts.
Very good. Thank you.
I'd like to make one more comment. The grandfather clause has been something that has been pretty solid in Michigan City for a while. And I just feel a little uncomfortable signing this every year with us not coming to Michigan City during the boat race. And I feel uncomfortable because, we've been doing an event with the boat race weekend for almost 28 years, I think. And this being the second year not being at the boat race, we're going to St. Joe and we're splitting up our events from St. Joe to Illinois. It's just a little odd, but I think that's one consideration. I think as you look down the road, when you're bumping out events that have been around for a long time, to consider the real picture of the local refuge that it leaves, when you're just doing something for, a broader picture. So I just think it's something we should consider as a community. Bumping out a local event for a national event is something I'm just not proud of.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
Well, I guess on that note of what Mr. Balling just said, is there, what is the reason that he can't be down there?
Basically, it's due to ingress and egress of vehicles and the large boats and the masses of people. That makes it difficult for everybody to maneuver.
Mhm.
I just hope, Ross, you do understand that in our 5-year master plan, there is a plan for more parking in an area that might facilitate him being able to have his volleyball in that area.
Mhm. So it's more the parking than the actual beach space,
And
or
boat
it's both?
maneuvering, parking, boat maneuvering, and just the masses of people.
Yeah. Mhm.
On lot one.
What's that?
The boats take up all of lot one.
Right.
Mhm.
It's really no parking.
And that, at that event, people park on the grass though, right?
There is some parking on the grass. There has been. Mostly when the Aqua X was at the same date as the boat race,
Mhm.
where in this case, I don't think there's going to be an Aqua X, but there probably will be parking on the grass at Fetters for sure.
Mhm.
And the lot gets closed 2 or 3 times per day
Mhm.
and reopens as it empties out. But
Yeah.
it's
And then is there parking, I forgot for that weekend, is there parking, is it at the old, the school, the maintenance building by Ames Field? Do they bus people in from there
I think they do.
that
I
weekend?
think the Visitors Bureau does.
Their lighthouse place.
Mhm. Yeah. So with that, it still wouldn't work to have, like, how many people?
Well, we've done it for 20 years and
Ross, if you can move the microphone, please, just because it's being recorded. Thank you.
once again, this is a discussion that I was hoping to have maybe later, but we've done the boat race. We've been invited to the boat race. We've been paid to be at the boat race and do a pro event. For the last 3 years, we've been bumped off the beach because of COVID. When the LaPorte County gave us a health letter saying beach volleyball was okay during COVID, we've been juggling up and down and feel like we're a rag doll sometimes. Being able to run our event, no, yes. And I'm just kind of upset that we couldn't work something out for something that's been there 10 years longer than the boat race. And the parking's not the issue. We can park anywhere and the players would walk there over the bridge. We could find things, but there was never any like, it was just cold cutting you off. I've been to the boat race meetings for almost 10 years, invited to those meetings. And it just seemed like 3 years ago that stopped. And it's just weird how it went down. I just think it's wrong. But, you know, I never was able to tell Ed because, you know, obviously I've been flexible. And I think there's people that need to know that when registration of volleyball programs and Michigan City youth is at 1%, we have an issue. We have an issue somewhere that is putting adult programming or other things in front. And I'm just kind of tired of it.
I would have a recommendation. This exhibit B doesn't include the boat race, but includes every other event and the location. Just because the boat race isn't on here doesn't mean that it can't be added if between now and next summer we can sit down and come to some agreement as to how to fit it in. So I would recommend we proceed with the way this is written because it at least gets you all the other events in a spot. And then you said you wanted to talk about it a little later. We could talk about it later and how to incorporate that event, if possible, into the boat race. If you feel it hasn't been given enough quality debate, if you were just cut, well, then let's bring you back to the table and discuss it. No promises, but at least get it on the table. And at least either we'll have a better understanding of your situation or vice versa. You're welcome. And in terms of the past and flip-flopping around and on again, I think this goes a long way to stop any of that because it's memorialized tonight, the dates and the locations. Other questions or comments from the board?
I think that sounds like a really good plan. And I have some ideas for advertising, but I guess we can just talk about that when we get together. Yeah. Cool.
Questions from the public? See none, do I have a motion to approve the EVP Academy's 2024 MOU?
I would move that we accept the EVP Academy's MOU.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, any other new business tonight?
No other new business, sir.
Thank you. That moves us into officers' reports. Mr. Shin,
Thank you, Mr. President.
you're welcome.
This evening, I will speak about youth baseball, the zoo, park and golf maintenance, and a donation. In youth baseball, the baseball season has officially ended. We had T-ball all-star game at Patriot Park on July 6th, and the kids really loved it and had a great time. The 8U tourney started July 5th, and the championship game was Monday, July 17th. We had a few problems with coaches and parents, as usual, asking if they could get umpires next year in the 8U league. We had a few issues with coaches not knowing all of the rules of baseball. The 10U tourney started Monday, July 17th, and ended Thursday, July 27th. Rainout and air quality alerts from wildfires in Canada set our schedule back a couple of weeks. The 13U tourney started July 11th and ended July 20th. Travel teams have continued to poach 15-year-olds. which have prevented us from securing enough interest to provide 15U league again this year. We had a few issues with sportsmanship, but it was addressed by having all the players meet at home plate to discuss sportsmanship, and we haven't had an issue since. I think Mr. Krasinski does a great job with keeping the spectators and the players learning about sportsmanship. A report on the zoo. The date August 3rd, that's tomorrow. There'll be a ribbon cutting ceremony. The zoo is excited to be celebrating the new Predator Ridge exhibit. That's what we used to refer to as the Big Cat exhibit. It's now called Predator Ridge. This new habitat made its unofficial debut on April 1st, our opening day of the zoo for the 2023 season. The Michigan City Park Board, Mayor Dwayne Perry, and the Washington Park Zoo staff will host a formal dedication tomorrow, August 3rd, before the Great Lakes Grand Prix kickoff events in Washington Park. The ribbon cutting will take place tomorrow at 4 p.m., but the gates will be open at 3:30 until 5 p.m. for guests to meet some of the animal ambassadors and staff, as well as visit the zoo grounds. Rain or shine tomorrow at 4 o'clock, but the gates open at 3:30. I think it'll be a nice ceremony to celebrate that project. Park maintenance and golf maintenance, I'll speak about them both at the same time here, just so everybody realizes that park maintenance and golf maintenance have been doing a fantastic job with the storms we've had and the trees that are down, and both entities preparing for things such as the Grand Prix boat race. Park maintenance have been really working hard to prepare for that, and the golf maintenance have been preparing for the city golf tournament, which was rained out on Saturday, but they were able to finalize it on Sunday. So both groups have been working very hard, and I just want to pass that on. Nice job. A donation. St. Paul Lutheran donation. I received a phone call from a representative of St. Paul Lutheran School. I was disappointed to learn St. Paul Lutheran School is closing. The park department has been offered youth athletic equipment. Some equipment is aged while other equipment is new. The park department is very grateful to accept this donation. This equipment will be utilized by our youth baseball and City Kids Day Camp programs. So thank you very much to St. Paul Lutheran School. You have done a lot for the city. And this ends my report. As far as vandalism is concerned, it was Water Tower Park that took a hit with graffiti all over the place. Mr. Volz is very disappointed on how much graffiti was done at Water Tower Park. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments from the board? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the liaison reports. I'm the Planning Commission liaison. There was a meeting, but there was nothing pertaining to the park. Port Authority liaison is Mr. Freeze. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us tonight. And then we have the Michigan City Zoological Society liaison, Mr. Glidden.
The Zoological Society has not yet met this month. They meet next Tuesday.
Very good, thank you. Anything to report tonight from Ms. Nierenberg? Thank you. Any director's reports tonight?
No director's reports.
Thank you. And that takes us to department finances and back to Mr. Glidden.
The city claims docket for August 2nd, 2023, municipal $78,744.58. Golf petty cash $200. Total claim $78,944.58. I would move that we accept this claims docket.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The payroll number 15 for 2023, July 9th to 2023, July 22nd of 23, pay date 7/28/23, total payroll $120,569.92. I would move that we meet the payroll for number 15.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have the minor transfers. Excuse me, I'll start with gifts and donations. We have a gift from Kroger, miscellaneous zoo donation, Kroger give back $83.85. And I would move we accept this gift.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Minor transfers, we're going to decrease the account 4220.021 for fuel, $1,500. Decrease the account 422.023 tires and tubes, $142. Decrease account 422.037 clothing and safety, $950. And increase account 429.001 other supplies, $2,592. I would move that we make these minor transfers.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Credit card charges totaling $419.97 were paid to corporate security systems for the following: Meyer Recreation Non-Reverting Baseballs for Youth Baseball League, $29.99. Amazon.com Administrative Signs for Parking, $32.98. Amazon.com Recreation Non-Reverting Batteries for Day Camp, $681. POSSupply.com Administrative Receipt Paper for Parking, $173.85. Land Cam Golf Course 2 bottom seat covers for carts, $176.34. I would move that we pay these credit card charges.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, any comments from the public tonight? Hello and welcome. When you get to the microphone, if you can please just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Jim Laughlin with the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, and address 2811 Lakeshore Drive.
Hello.
I'm a stand-in for Father Mike, who has been helping the auxiliary design a beach safety, a swim safety program. It's a kind of a prototype, and the idea is to have, basic orientation over safety on the beach, when to stay out of the water on the beach, what to do if you're in trouble in the water. I think you probably all know people don't wave their hands, help, help, I'm drowning. They go down, and so as part of the program, and I think we'll get more partners over time. We want to do a T-shirt for beach safety, and it will have the logos of the Coast Guard. I think the state park is going to come in, maybe the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And the idea is to give out the T-shirts on these events. We have 3 weekends planned, weather permitting. The events will have the Coast Guard boats out there with their lights and sirens, maybe fire trucks spewing some water, and at least 1 or 2 of the events pull in a Coast Guard helicopter where hopefully someone jumps out into the water. And it's to bring attention, and it's a simple program. And we'll give away around 10 T-shirts and then sell others if people are interested. The cost per T-shirt is going to be $10, and we'll sell for 15. Your involvement for right now, as I talked to a couple of you before, would be able to have the Parks and Recreation endorse the program and let us put your symbol on the T-shirt too. I think it's sort of neat the more people we get showing an involvement on that program. So that will be a request at your next meeting. Unfortunately, they didn't get the information here because it's getting close to the dates of printing the T-shirts. I'm hoping that maybe we'll be able to work something out. And I can just say from my own part with the Coast Guard Auxiliary, I'm a crew, and I take both the facility authorized by the Coast Guard out, and we see the craziness along the pier and going out to the lighthouse and some on the beaches. And so there is a major need to educate public in terms of swim safety. That's it. You'll see Father Mike next time, I think.
Well, thank you for coming and explaining the process. We would love to participate. That's of course very near and dear. Someone else who could consider the fire department.
Yeah, he's talking to the fire department, and the national park is interested, but they don't have the ability to do it this year. It's an idea that we just discussed at our last meeting in July. And so it's putting together sort of a prototype and then be able to go full steam next year. We'd like to get it done.
Yes, last year, the board approved of a swim safety class on the beach, and the fire department is very instructive. There was a fireman named Chris Blake, and I think you've spoken with him.
Yeah, I know.
Right, and it was very successful. It was very good.
Yeah, it's needed.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Board comment?
Yeah, real quick, I was going to bring up the same thing you said, Phil. Are they going to be working with our fire department, since that's where the lifeguards work out of? And I wanted to, I don't know if any of you have heard, or when they were doing the program where the guy came out with the drones. Remember that when they did? Do we know where that stands? I haven't heard anything about it when they, and they were showing the commercial at the Notre Dame football game, and the drone and how they could be used for safety as well, to be able to see from overhead. And I don't know whatever happened with that program and what they were doing, but that would also be something to look into. It seems like it just kind of went away. I came down here that morning to check it out and saw them doing the commercial and everything like that, but I just don't know if it's proceeded. He just jogged my memory of it, and I was wondering what happened with that. Okay. So I guess that's something to look into. And then a couple of comments I have, when we talk about the off-road vehicles and what's going on with those, and being able to monitor those things, and with the the police department, and all these things that are happening all over the city, we're running into a lot of that, where ordinances that are on the books over the years have not been enforced due to staffing and whatever it may be. And hopefully, we can get back up to where, these ordinances are being enforced, because I think it'll change behavior down there with some of these things that are happening, around town. We're having problems with people dumping trash and all kinds of stuff going on out here. So hopefully, we can get that taken care of with the off-road vehicles being down there on the beach as well. And on a lighter note, that travel request for Sean to go down to, was that Seaversville? Yes, yeah. Is that close to Memphis? Don't know. Anyway, I think you guys need to approve somebody to go monitor that whole thing when it's happening. And I'm volunteering to do that. I could, monitor Sean and, all day, and then at night could take off and get to Memphis and then meet them back in the morning, I'm just putting that on the table, Phil, for you guys to think about for next year. I think you should approve that.
Thank you, Councilman Dabney. Questions or any other comments from the board? I was just forgot to thank Mr. Balling for his gift, and I also wanted to wish him well tomorrow in his surgery that he mentioned. Other than that, our next meeting is Wednesday, August 16th, 5 o'clock right here. We have a motion to adjourn.
Would move me adjourn.